Yo, what is going on? It is your host, Legs Black. You're tuning into my show, Midnight Arcade. This is episode 32. We are in season 4. Man, I'm excited. I've been on hiatus. I'm going to tell you, I've been tired. I've been burning the candle at both ends. I've been super tired and burnt out. I've just been working on my books, my music, and everything. So I've just been completely flat out. And on top of that, fatherhood. So you know how that goes, man. But we are back. Before we get into anything, let's do the housekeeping. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified for whenever I drop that new heat. You heard? Yes, sir. Now let's get into it. Boruto Chapter 1, 2 Blue Vortex. I got some questions. Okay, so we're gonna get to it. So here we are, the scene, Sarada speaking with Shikamaru. First of all, let's talk about the drip, okay? Look at the drip.
Oh, B, hold on, yeah, look at the fucking drip. Yeah, look at the fucking drip. Y'all know fucking fly, you shit me? As you shit me?
Right? It's looking kind of nice, man. Ikamoto, I give you your props for these two designs, but everything else, we'll get into it. And anyway, Sarada is outside the Hokage's office. She takes a deep breath. She walks in. Then we cut to a scene with her yelling at Hokage Shikamaru as if Kakashi's still like they couldn't go to him. Anyway, questions for later. And she's basically speaking with him, trying to convince him to rescind the order of Boruto being a criminal to Konoha, so on and so forth. Shikamaru was like, nah, and even if I did, it's not going to change the hearts and minds of people. Clearly, the omnipotent Shinjutsu by Ada is very well in play here. It's still really weird to see Shikamaru in Hokage attire. Anyway, so Sarada is wasting her time trying to convince people whom memories got scrambled from omnipotence, so therefore it's just they're not convinced no matter what. They think Kawaki is Boruto and Boruto is Kawaki, like we've been saying over and over again. It's very, very repetitive, but we have to continue saying this for the uninitiated who just so happen to be tuning into my channel for the first time. So yeah, we're going through this and the interaction is not unnotable, but here's a noteworthy piece of the interaction here. Now, she is clearly sticking up for Boruto because she was not affected by the omnipotence like everyone else. Right? Shikamaru was kind of underhanded with his comments here when he says to her, like, I'm worried about you. You need to get back to your mission because, at this rate, forget Hokage, you'll never be more than a genin, right? And that kind of got under Sarada's skin, right? And then she said, because my pop was a traitor, my dad was a traitor, just like Boruto. And Shikamaru was like, nah, this has nothing to do with it. I'm talking solely about your future as a shinobi. And then she hits them with this crazy bar, this crazy rebuttal, man. It was beautiful, right? And she said, Lord Seventh, and I quote, Lord Seventh once brought back my dad who'd gone rogue and committed great crimes. He became Hokage while still a genin. Speaking of Naruto, Lord Seventh. My role model is Lord Seventh, not you. She's dropping bars, but she's letting everybody knows. Anybody who's tuned into this series knows that she idolizes Naruto. She idolizes him, and her goal is to become Hokage, just like him. That line right there really solidified it. If her motives didn't solidify it before. Anyway, now we skip to a scene with creepy Kawaki keeping an eye on Naruto and Hinata in the dimension that he kept them in. Kawaki got a crazy mullet going on here. And the pants is, we gonna get to that too. Now we skip to a scene with Sumire and Sarada. And they're just going over the fact that none of the villagers are convinced that Boruto Uzumaki is Naruto's son because of omnipotence. And they're talking about, what are they gonna do? They're basically just talking about how difficult it is to exist in this village, knowing that they know the truth and knowing that they are the ones who could knock Ada's block off. They're the only ones that they know of that can knock Ada's block off if things go down, right? So they're just kind of going over what the conversation was with Hokage Shikamaru. That sounds so weird. But anyway, then the scene skips to Sarada and Sumire sitting with Ada and Damon, and basically they kind of sort of spilling the beans to Ada and Damon, kind of like giving away their hand. And it really wasn't until Sumire kind of was like, oh, yo, chill, like chill out, to kind of like not put them on the game, because Ada kind of like touched on it, like, so I don't know, I don't understand why you guys aren't affected by my charm jutsu, and you know, this is that and the third, and she's kind of alluding to the fact that they could potentially be a threat if they really aren't affected by a charm. Samira's like, nah, we are affected, we were just pretending to hide our feelings, and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, Damon, who wants all the smoke all the time, is eyeing them suspiciously, and he's right to do so, as I begrudgingly say this, because they slipped up, man. They slipped up. So now, you know, an eye is on them, and with Ada's Senringan, like, you know, it's easy for her to survey them at any given point in time. So anyway, they're kind of going over things happening, and one of the core pieces of the conversation in this particular scene, they're just talking about how she's understanding a little bit more about the omnipotent Shinjutsu, but she's like, I can't reverse it. There's nothing I can do. Maybe we can like do another change, but I can't reverse a damn thing. So there's that. Damon, meanwhile, is eyeing them suspiciously, ready to take their blocks off at any given point. So there's that scene. Now, this is one of my questions. What is he wearing? And why is he wearing it like that? Like, it looks like his torso, his upper torso was like longer than his leg. It looked like he got like super short legs. Now, no disrespect to anybody whose proportions are like that. I'm not trying to disrespect y'all, but when you have an artist who is drawing these characters and they're supposed to be semi-realistic anime style looking people, it shouldn't look like that. What is that? Anyway, that scene kind of just Mitsuki pops in and he's bloodlusting every second. He's emanating bloodlust, and Kawaki's basically saying like, bro, like, chill out, just relax, man. I know you want to kill Boruto. Cool, you do that, but chill. And then basically they get an alert of Code and his claw markings being everywhere, so on and so forth. And Kawaki shows off some of his new powers, like Ishiki being able to fly. And he flies off to go and neutralize some of those annoying claw marks that Code has been putting in, out, and around and near Konoha for 3 years now. That's something I'm going to get to in a second. But anyway, as he flies off, you know, the interaction between Mitsuki and Kawaki rubs Mitsuki a little bit off, and then he's starting to question deep down, like, are you really the Hokage's son? But he doesn't come flat out and say it, but he asks in a roundabout way, and I have some points to get to later on, so stick around. And then we cut to the scene of Himawari Uzumaki. Now, this is one person that I've been wondering about since we got our last episode for part 1 of Boruto in the manga. What is she going through? We get some partial answers here, and it's cool to see her like engaging in full activity, you know, pursuing to be a full and complete full-fledged ninja. And she's sparring with her master, her sensei, Chocho, which is cool, you know, and they have a pretty cool action scene. And it shows that she's very competent and very skilled. I mean, look at her parents. Her parents were highly skilled shinobi, the father being Hokage, obviously, and Hinata not being a slouch at all. And so, you know, we kind of catch a cool fight scene between sensei and student, and then we get to the core piece of this particular scene. She's talking, Himawari is also another person who's questioning the inconsistencies of omnipotence, even though she's still affected by it. And she's saying, like, deep down, like, I don't know, I want to become a shinobi so that I can help Boruto. And she's like, I know the village is gonna like shun me for it, but I just feel like he didn't do what everybody's accusing him of doing. Like, he saved my life. Now, mind you, her memories are reversed. She's thinking about when Naruto fought Delta and Kawaki jumped in to save Naruto and Himawari from Delta's beam. But of course, omnipotence replaces Kawaki's memories with Boruto's memories, and so she's confusing the two naturally because of the Shinjutsu. So anyway, even with that, and because of the big heart that she has, and how much she cares about both of her brothers, she's saying, nah, we need to give him a chance. We need to give Boruto a chance. Lo and behold, she's actually right? So anyway, that's that part of the scene. So I'm just going over this shit really quick. The meat and potatoes is at the end. Make sure you stay tuned for that. I got questions to ask. You understand me? We cut to another scene, Kawaki shrinking the claw marks from Code. And then there's another scene where one of the shinobis that's talking is saying, like, I don't understand why this guy's ramping up his claw markings near here. And Kawaki's like, yeah, I don't know. But then he's like, hey, let me check your collar real quick. I guess he sensed the claw mark on dude's neck. He shrinks it, and the dude's like, oh shit, like I didn't know. And then Kawaki jumps over to the Hokage's office where Shikamaru is, and he says, hey man, something's going down, Code's gonna be coming soon, gather everybody in one spot so I can shrink all the claw markings, because, you know, yeah, we don't want this to blow into a full-scale attack, so on and so forth. Shikamaru was like, I bet, let's get that going. Again, I'm paraphrasing here, but lo and behold, it doesn't matter, because Frieza pops up. Now, when I say Frieza, I mean the 10-tail army clones or whatever have you that are decked out in Code's claw marking designs and stuff like that. Correct me in the comments or tell me in the comments what the name of these people I completely forgot. They start popping out of people's necks and shirts and clothes and all that stuff because the claw markings were everywhere. And then carnage ensues and they start smacking people up and rushing people, and then there's civilian casualties, and some people, you know, a lot of people start running, and one of the first shinobis on the scene is, you guessed it, Sarada. Chaos ensues, there's pandemonium, there's fighting that takes place. The 10 Tails clones that are marked by Code keep popping up, and one goes down, another one pops up through the claw marks that are embedded into these clones, so it's like you kill one, 5 more pop up. Sarada shows that she's leveled up in that quick scene where she takes out one of them, she one-shots them. She also, in addition to possessing the Sharingan and the Mangekyo Sharingan, she also possesses excellent chakra control and the super strength that she inherited and she learned from her mother. But anyway, things start getting thick and more of these clones start popping up more and more and more where Sarada is. And then all of a sudden Code pops out. And, you know, we see that Code got a little touched up in the time skip. And he's like, oh yeah, nice to finally meet you, Uchiha Sarada, and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I'm looking for Boruto. And she's like, he isn't here. He left 3 years ago. And he's like, yeah, I know. I've been chasing him for almost 2 years now, and I'm tired. He's decided to stop looking, and he figured, let me go and touch up the people whom he cares about. And then he says, you know, starting with you, I hope you can scream real pretty so that it will reach him. I mean, and then like that, he gets curb stomped. Yep, you guessed it. Right there, Boruto just magically appears randomly. I don't know if it's body flicker or space-time ninjutsu, but either way, he appears and literally curb stomps dude. Like, Code is not the big bad that he was built up to be. Not at all, okay? Hella L's, okay? He's 0 for 0 for 0 for 0 for 0 for 0 in all stats. Trash. So he gets curb stomped. Boruto pops up. Sarada was like, oh, shoot. And Boruto says basically, yo, stop saying shit like that, man. You scaring the hoes, right? He doesn't say that verbatim, but that's basically what he says. And then a fight ensues. And then a point that I forgot to make earlier is that in the conversation with Mitsuki and Kawaki notes that it doesn't matter if Boruto can erase his chakra or not. If he shows up here, I'll be able to sense him. And that is true because Boruto was able to do the same thing when Kawaki erased his chakra when he ran off to go confront Code and whatever have you. Part 1. Things are going crazy. 10 Tails clones are popping up. Code is there, but he got curb stomped immediately. Sarada's there. She's kind of like shocked that Boruto's there. Then a 3-way battle is being previewed between Code, who lost an eye, Kawaki, and Boruto. And then that's the end of the chapter. So, okay. I got questions, yo. I got questions, man. I'm sorry. I got to get to them. As I stated in the last few episodes of Season 3, I wondered how some of the main characters would react to the news of Naruto being killed by Boruto. And I get crickets. No reaction shown by Himawari, the most important person who we want to see a reaction from. That's his daughter. You know what I'm saying? They didn't show any of that. No Himawari reaction. No Sakura, Shikamaru, Kakashi, Iruka Sensei, Konohamaru, basically any and everyone that had a personal connection or a distant admiration of the god body legend Naruto himself. Like, was there even a funeral or anything? Like, we don't know. It wasn't given to us. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't show this to us in some flashback later on in some of the later chapters, but why? How many flashbacks are we gonna live through? You know what I mean? Get to the shits, but do a better job of getting to the shits. Anyway, the next question is, where was any of this? Like, was it even thought of? Time skip, in my estimation, was poorly executed. And all the shit happening now, post-time skip, could have happened without one, all right? Now, my next question is this. Is omnipotence absolute, or is common sense able to break through the jutsu in some weird way or so? Like, what about all the pictures of Boruto in, out, and around the village prior to the omnipotence happening? How are the villagers going to explain that? I mean, especially in the home of the Hokage, Boruto being in the pictures, you know, with his family. How are people going to explain that? When Himawari sees that, how is she going to, you know, how is she going to look at that and justify that in her mind? Who knows? Okay, Sasuke already deduced something was greatly amiss when he saw Boruto with his old headband. Okay, and I mentioned that in a few episodes ago, and that was going to be a key in demystifying the fog that omnipotence had placed on people's memories. And the case in point here is Mitsuki deep down already senses something amiss with Kawaki as he begins to doubt that Kawaki is the Hokage's son. He really isn't wrong, and his intuition is correct, obviously. And some of the characters that I would assume would be the first to recognize the inconsistencies of the omnipotence would be Kakashi, Orochimaru, Sakura, Himawari. I would say Shikamaru, but the way how his character has been written as of late, he seems to be as foolish as the next man, and not the dude who had an IQ that surpasses Kakashi, so on and so forth, blah, 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 blah. And speaking further on omnipotence, Sarada and Sumire are awfully bold talking to Ada about how Boruto is innocent. Like, why would you give the game away, like I mentioned earlier, with an enemy knowing that OP Damon is waiting in the wings looking for all the smoke? Crazy. And what about our resident shady McGrady, Amado? Yeah, the man who made these monsters in the first place. I'd wager he definitely knew of Ada's ability or potential for Shinjutsu. He created her, for crying out loud, right? So don't you think he has a key? Don't you think he has the key and is the key in all of this? I think so. I feel like he's really gonna play the field and go to where he feels is most beneficial to him, which he has obviously displayed quite a bit throughout the series. And I truly believe that he too, like Sarada and Sumire, are immune to Ada's charm and the Shinjutsu, but for different reasons, because he's like the architect of their bodies, and he was able to give them that whatever connection it was to the Otsutsuki god and all that crazy shit going on. And if he acts like he's affected, he's just playing about that role to survive, right? So to me, listen, all of these things feel really rushed and not well thought out, poorly written and executed. When you think about all the elements, factors, plot wrinkles, character developments, the reasons for training and going away, and so on and so forth, without going into any more further detail, bruh, there didn't need to be a time skip. All that stuff could have been taken care of right then on site. There didn't need to be 3 years in between. And then again, the fact that they didn't cover the emotional impact of the great Naruto, quote unquote, dying through the eyes of characters like one of his best friends in Sakura, his baby girl in Himawari, and one of his closest friends in Kakashi, former teacher. Like, come on, man, poorly executed. Am I glad that Boruto is back? Yeah, because it gives me a chance to talk my shit again, right? But they gotta do a better job executing. Anyway, that's it for today. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon to be notified whenever I drop that new heat. You heard? Yes, sir. Make sure you check out my link tree. I have a bunch of stuff there, music. I put out my second audiobook, Neon District Exodus. Make sure you listen to it. It's available on all audiobook platforms, man. Get into the story. I can't wait for people to dive into this, man. I have some more things coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned. But that's it. This is Midnight Arcade, episode 32. We gone.